On this review, we get to talk about my favourite bits of subject matter, and that's utes, but not just any ute. We've got ISUZU's D Max, in fact, two of them. Now, when I first started my four-wheel drive driver training career, we used to use Rodeos, and they were fantastic machines because at their beating heart was ISUZU's truck heritage. And the 2.8 litre four-cylinder turbo diesel with direct injection was an absolute runaway compared to the opposition back then. Well, we've been lucky enough to snag two vehicles. This one, the top of the range LSU, and over here, I've got the tray-back commercial model, the SX. Now on paper, the D Max doesn't look to be an especially powerful vehicle. The figures suggest 130 kilowatts and only 380 newton meters. To give you a comparison, the industry leaders, the Mazda BT50 and the Ford Ranger, are up at 170 kilowatts and 470 newton meters, and that's a big difference. But the good thing with the D Max is that it masks that deficiency nicely. In fact, you wouldn't know. The average driver wouldn't pick up that difference. It's a great ute with a good spread of gears. I love my vehicles and I like to dedicate a little bit of TLC to them in between service times. And one thing I find really important is to have the ability to change or at least service a filter. Now ISUZU make that pretty easy. You can see I've pulled out that filter element, piece of cake. The other thing that's really neat too is the oil filter sits right up the top here. It's accessible and it's got its own little spill tray underneath it. So that messy job no longer is a problem. Now I mentioned the gears are well spaced out. It's a 5-speed gearbox, whereas other vehicles are 6. Doesn't matter. The gear ratios are spread out nicely. And in fact, in third gear, you can pull the engine speed right down to about 1,000 RPM and it'll go around corners happy as Larry. So if you're a bit of a lazy driver, you won't find driving this manual a chore. So I'd like to demonstrate to you that tractability. I'm in third gear at the moment. I'm going to do a U-turn in third. So my foot's off the gas. I'm going to let the engine speed fall. I'm doing as little as about 600 to 800 revs at the moment. Does it fuss the D Max? No. We just complete the turn. Doesn't even look like it's going to stall. So if you're a bit of a lazy driver, it's got the ability to haul that engine speed right down low, not be a problem. Well, we know if you're owning a ute, you're into carrying loads. And we know that the tray in the back is big enough to swallow up an ATV, but inside here, yeah, people space, but there's also cargo space. By grabbing a hold of this latch here, hooking this hook up onto the headrest, it reveals this flat space down here and a storage bin. So we've got the jack and the tools, all those good things down there, but that whole flat area becomes another space to put some extra load. That's a good thing. Now ISUZU have thought about protecting their systems, and the intercooler is tucked up nice and high out the way. You can see in the back there is the main radiator that does the cooling, and in the front here is the intercooler that gives the car all its mumbo, and it's tucked up nice and high. That's a great asset. Trays on the backs of utes are really good things, but you've got to have some way of lashing whatever you're carrying to the tray. The ISUZU D Max has these really strong grab rails down here that will take a ratchet strap or something like that. And also inside the tray, we've got these fantastic D-loops that sit just in here that are spring-loaded, and they'll secure a really heavy load. That's another great idea. Another thing that commercial buyers of the D Max will appreciate is this heavy-duty vinyl floor. No messy carpets to muck around with. If you've got a four-wheel drive and especially a ute, you're bound to do some towing at some stage. Here's a bit of precision reversing, spoiled only by arriving just a touch too quick. At Adventure 4-wheel drive, we have to move our fleet of hire Kimberley campers to and from the office, and they're a good test bed for vehicle evaluations, simulating a holiday load. The D Max's diesel is coping easily with this load, coming in at half of its maximum towing capacity of 3,000 kilograms. With a good spread of gear ratios, we've noted both flat and hilly driving are easy peasy. The suspension has been barely affected by the load, and the D Max sits nicely level, important in the safety stakes. Well, sad but true, but I've got to give the D Max back. So what have we enjoyed about it? Well, as a commercial ute, it's going to suit a lot of users. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're in mining, agriculture, government, industry, whatever it is, you'll find a lot of really good things about it. It's got a really big tray on the back, so it'll swallow up a massive old load. It's got an interior that's appointed appropriately, vinyl floors, which is essential for sweeping out the dust and mud and rubbish at the end of a big day. I like the fact it's got plenty of power, good fuel efficiency. It's a great ute, and you ought to go check it out.